Okay, little Ricky here with a report that some people might find interesting. Let's put that out of the way for the time being. Let's bring this into frame, and I guess we should flip it so it looks right for most of the audience. So this is the subject of the new BATF regulations and the new Illinois state law. And in short time, they will be illegal in Illinois in their present form. Its present form is unfinished, and it cannot be assembled into a rifle no matter how hard you might try, because it's unfinished. Let's talk about that. So in this location here, machining needs to occur necessary to support the hammer, the trigger assembly, the selector switch assembly, and as you can see, it's solid. You just can't drill a hole. It has to be precisely machined. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. Need to drill specifically sized and exactly located holes on the face to hold certain pins that hold the hammer, that are the fire control from safe to fire. Underneath here, machining operations need to take place in order to have space for the trigger. So this is a so-called 80% lower receiver. This is what one looks like that's completed. This one has the machining completed. This one has the fire control and the pins necessary for the trigger and hammer assembly. Has the location for the trigger milled. And in this case, this guy, you could attach an upper receiver to this point. You could attach the spring and buffer tubes to this point. You could put the forward grip at this point and put all of the necessary parts to turn this into an operational rifle. Well, this is going into the scrap heap because I'm not going to pay $75 to have some third party. There's only 3 of them in Illinois that can do it. $75 to put a number on here, do background checks, paperwork, and all the other stuff. I did this as a lark. I did it as a proof of concept. I did it to improve my machining skills. It has no value to me other than that. So I will destroy my property to satisfy idiot J.B. Pritzker and his cohorts who passed their law at 4 o'clock in the morning. But now let's go take a look at a few others. So this is an unfinished lower receiver. You'll notice solid opening where you need to have this. Now I dare anybody in the media or the politicos to do this in 15 minutes as they've claimed, and you'll find it's complete bullshit. In fact, I would give them $10,000 if they could do that. I doubt they could even drill these holes in 15 minutes. But never, be that as it may, it is what it is. So these are the significant differences between a finished, or is that sometimes called 80%er, and a finished lower receiver. All going on the destructo pile. Now let's talk about this. This is what they call a 20%er. Now in this case, there's no fire control pocket. There's no pocket for the magazine well, which by the way is a very complicated operation beyond the skill of most knob twirling monkeys. It has not had the buffer tube hole drilled very accurately and threaded, nor does it have any of the attachments for the upper receiver, which they too must be machined very accurately. Otherwise, the upper and the lower receiver doesn't mate properly. As you can see, it's pretty close to just a chunk of metal. But in the world of media and politicians, this is an immediate threat and could be instantly converted into a firearm. Well, it can't. More media hyperbole and political BS. Soon, I'm sure, they will even take it to the absurd levels, and this is just a block of aluminum. Now, the amount of effort and skill to turn that into a functional receiver looking like this would be significant. However, to make the basics, maybe not pretty, but to create the basics for the buffer tube attachment, the fire control pocket, the magazine well, the other attachment points, it can be done. It's just not that difficult. So when you think that you can just somehow magically disappear semi-automatic rifles, well, I don't think you can. And I don't think you can because if there's a demand by the criminal of the world and they can't get them any other way, well, they will find somebody that they can coerce, intimidate, browbeat into making them. So here they all lined up for just one final look-see. And these are all soon to be toast. And you'll see a video or two of those that'll show up here in the not too distant future. Anyways, pardon the crummy video. I'm not a YouTube guy. And that's all I got for you today.